Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to go through on After Effects. We're going to be putting some lyrics to music and then taking the camera and showing you just again how you can manipulate the camera to do some cool things with your lyrics. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a new project, but let's just do a new composition to start with. We're going to say okay, we're going to drop that in there. First thing we're going to do with this is we're going to set a solid in the background. So I'm going to go new, solid. It doesn't matter the color because we're going to change the color here in a minute. So we're going to go OK. And we got a big green solid. It's nice, I suppose. What we're going to do up here is there's a couple different things that we could do this. Let's just do a ramp. A ramp is where it's kind of like a gradient in Photoshop. It's about the same thing. So you can see it is a gradient. There's linear ramps and there's radial ramps. I'm just going to do a linear ramp with this. I'm going to blend some of it with the original so that we have dark to light. What we can do is just to start off, and you can change this with the beat of your music if you so choose. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the start of the ramp and the end of the ramp. I'll turn those points on, and I'm going to set the points at various different spots throughout the video just so it kind of moves around, just really subtle, and adds some dynamic spots to your video. And then we'll do one more, and we may not get that far into this one, but at least you'll have an idea. We'll move that one up there so it'll flip-flop. So just to give you the quick overview of what that is, the red circles with the X's in them represent the movement of the ramp as it goes across the video. I am going to blend it just a bit more to soften up that black, and you'll see that we now have a green background that kind of fades between a dark green and a light green. You can make this a little more subtle if you like. I'm just going to leave it like that just so that we have some dynamic background effect to it. Sound good? Okay. So we have our background. Next thing we need to do is let's go ahead and pull the song in, and I'm just going to pull in a song that I had downloaded previously. We've discussed previously how you can obtain audio. Okay, so on the desktop, you import files like you would in Premiere Pro. We will locate our file that we'd like to import, and I would like to pull in, oh goodness, I'm not seeing the song. Just 1 second. Let's try this one. I didn't preview it beforehand to see if it was working or not. Let's see if it is. Okay, so what we do is we just pull the audio in. I'm going to take and turn off the visual. Really, the visual is going to be tucked in behind the background as it is. To preview audio, you must click on RAM Preview. And I don't have my audio on because I'm using the microphone to record. Okay. But what I could do is let's see if we can plug in the speakers. It's going to give some audio feedback. So let's not do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to suppose that the words are matching up on here. I won't be able to play the audio through this tutorial. So what we're going to do is the first couple words of this song are going to be hey brother. Let's go ahead and get those words on there. So we're going to type hey. And check your font so it's in line with what everybody else is doing. You can add fonts into here like you can with Photoshop, and there is a whole grip of fonts out there. We can talk about that in class on how you add fonts, but let's just pick something like this. And we're not going to do anything too fancy with it. We'll make it nice and big. Okay. First thing we're going to do with this is we're going to make it a three-dimensional layer. And what I'd like to do is change this view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my tracker. We'll bring that back later. I'm going to take and I'm going to put this onto, we could do two views to keep it kind of simple, as we'll do a top view as well as the active camera view. First thing I'm going to do is go over to our top view. What I'm going to suggest that we do is we take our Z-axis, and I'm going to suggest that we push the Z-axis back considerably for this one. Okay, so you can use the scroll wheel on the mouse and pull back. You can then use the H key It allows you to move around on your stage. If you hold in H It allows you to manipulate around the canvas that you're working with so that you can pull items back further and see how far back they go. So we're going to pull the hay all the way back that far. Okay. What we could do is now add a camera. Let's have this come up a couple seconds. Okay. And we're going to add an animation to this first. So what we're going to do is go to transform. And what we're going to want to do is, I believe it's under orientation, we're going to have this flop from being flat to being fully up. So what we'll do is we'll go to orientation and we're going to manipulate that around. Okay. What we do want to do though is we want to come up to the anchor point tool. And we want to set our anchor point so it's at the bottom. Now the reason that we're doing that is so that the word doesn't flop up from the middle, it's going to flop up from the bottom. So we're going to use our orientation tool, and do you see how it went from flopping up from the middle? It's now going to flop up from the bottom. Okay, so we'll come over a few seconds, and actually we need to go back there. We need to set our keyframe on, and then we will bring our orientation back up to 0 with this keyframe. So let me do a quick thing on here. This is the keyframe assistant, and do easy ease in. What this does is it makes your frame, your words go up just a little bit smoother. So we'll play it, and you see it previews before it pre-renders before it shows you what it does. So it's flat, and then it comes up. Okay, so that's a simple first effect. The next word that we're going to add on is after we do the camera, and I'll show you why here in a second. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the camera. We're going to say OK to the defaults. We now have our camera, and it starts off with our regular view. What I'm going to do is I'm first going to move our camera forward on the Z-axis so that the hay takes up most of the screen. I'm then going to, so it flops up. Okay. What I'm going to do is on my camera, I'm going to go to transform. I'm going to turn on all of my buttons, and we're going to set those as keyframes to start with. I do that because we may make adjustments later, and we want to make sure that we have those documented. So we have our top, and then hey, and in this particular song, the song goes, hey brother. Okay. Well, we want to have hey on there for a little bit, and then we kind of want it to fade. So let's go ahead and do that as well. So we have the word pop up, and then we want to have it fade. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with opacity. Opacity is your ability to see through something. So we're going to have it at 100, and then it's going to slowly fade over the course of a couple of seconds. So we'll have it ramp down to 0. So we'll again set those as keyframe assistants, easy ease in. Okay. So before we get to our camera, let's do this. So it's going to preview. Okay. And I'm going to show you a trick because right now waiting for things to go through and pre-render all the way through is not very cool. So it goes hey, and at the same time we're going to pull back with our camera and pan back. So what I'm going to do is, in order to set your work area so it's a little bit more reasonable, pull these sliders in. What that's going to do is cut down on the amount of time it takes to pre-render. You can see it was pretty much an instant preview at that point. Okay. If you need to zoom in, you can pull the sliders this way. It gives you a more detailed look of the area that you're working on. When you're working with lyric videos, work on small chunks of time as you go. Okay, so what we need to have next is we need to cut down on when this is on there. We'll cut this side down, and before I go on to the brother part, we're going to cut this side down as well. We do not need to clutter up our timeline with a whole bunch of different words, so we cut down on how long the word is on there by just bringing these two sliders, which represent the word hey, down. If you wanted to have it end sooner, you can just pull that to the left or the right. Okay? We're going to add the word brother next. So we're going to go new, text. You can also click on the text box, but so So we got hey, and we have brother. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to put the word brother as a three-dimensional object as well. We are going to push it back just a little bit. You can either do this from the transform and change your position backwards, or you can go to the top view, select the z-axis, and just kind of push it back just a ways. Okay? What we're going to do now is we have brother, and the fact that it's not exactly in the screen, it's okay. We'll work with it here in a minute. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. What we're going to do is we're going to go back. We got hey, and we have brother. Now we could copy and put like a similar effect in there. Let's have this one swing down from the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to change. We grabbed our pan behind tool. What's going to allow us to do is set our point at the top. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to change, again, our orientation. We're going to have it go, and we're going to have it flop in from the top. So we're going to start with this as a keyframe, and we'll bump over to the right and have the orientation coming back to 0 as a second keyframe. So now we'll easy ease those in by going right-click, keyframe assistant, easy ease in. So we have hey, it's on there, it begins to fade, and then brother. Okay? What we will do is we'll bump these points just a little bit further over to the left, just so that it's hey, brother. Okay? What we're going to do with this now is we're going to take our camera and we're going to adjust it in. I'm going to, oops, let's keep that. What I want to do is pull our keyframe or her. Okay. So hey, brother. What we're going to do is with our camera, we're going to take the position of our camera and we're going to adjust it such that we are focused on hey. And we're actually going to take and move, let's move this point. Let's move this further behind the camera. So we're going to do two things. We're going to pull this camera here, and we're going to pull the camera such that it's right here to start with. So I deleted where our original point was. Okay. Actually, I don't know if I want to do that quite yet. Yeah, we do. Okay, so going back to hey, we'll check and see what hey looks like. Hey's a little bit big. We'll pull it to this point right here, and we're going to want to go on up on the y-axis, just so it's a little bit more focused. What we will then do is we got hey, and then we see brother flops down right there. So what we're going to do is as this fades, we're going to take and move the position of our camera on the z-axis backwards so that we can see the brother, which is going to flop down right here. So it goes hey, brother. And we can make adjustments to the camera as need be. So to preview the clip, we're going to go hey, brother. It goes through the one time. Hey, brother. And you can see we've done some simple motion. Those words are going to match up with the words that you have on the screen. You can adjust how long they're on the screen by using this, the sliders. And this should allow you to do what you want to do with your project. You're using camera motion as well as the word motion to put together a project that's going to really look pretty good. After you've finished everything, I insist that you do the easy ease in. It just makes your camera motion just a little bit smoother, and you see how it kind of brother. I think it's a good little tip to do. Okay. After this, you'll take all your compositions, you'll combine them in another composition, and you'll be adding some live motion in as well. I'm confident this will be an awesome project.